Conversations with Dr. Els, another edition this beautiful Sunday. We pray that everybody you are doing good. I want you to reach out to someone, let them know that Conversations with Dr. Els is on, and we are looking forward to see you to join in our conversation. Wherever you are across the globe, I want to say to you, join me here on Facebook Live, join me here on my YouTube channel, Dr. Els TV, and let's have this beautiful conversation together. All my peeps out there, my friends, families, and those of you who will join me after I say greetings, greetings, greeting to you, my brother Evan Bell Faria out there in New Jersey. Great to have you. Hi, Barbara. Great having you locked on to Conversations with Dr. Els. And I want you to do something for me. I want you to share this conversation. Remember, Conversations with Dr. Els is not a lecture, it's not a teaching per se, but it is an interactive conversation. It's where you have the opportunity to share your views on whatever we're discussing. You have the opportunity to just share your experience. I know you have lots of experience, so we want you to share your experiences with us. But I want to encourage you to find someone and tell them Conversations with Dr. Els is on. Share the live broadcast and let them know that, hey, you guys can join in. Okay, we've had a break for I think a couple weeks, but before that, and last week we talked about motherhood, seeing that we were celebrating mothers, and I still want to say to all of you a pleasant day to all of you mothers out there who continue to do an extremely important job, and so we want to say hi to you and let you know that we still do appreciate you. Even though Mother's Day is gone, we still do appreciate you. But before that, we started talking about how to know that you are in a healthy relationship. All right, how do you know if I'm in a healthy relationship? And so I want to kind of wrap up this today, and your input here is very important. Let me say hi to you, Dotty Dotty, right there in over in Canada. So we have Canada in the house, New York in the house, we have New Jersey in the house, and so it's great to have you, my friends, here on Conversations with Dr. L. So we're going to talk about how do I know that I'm in a healthy relationship? And before we get into such, I want to just share a few things with you. We have a section of Conversations with Dr. Els that is called On the Radar, and just want to let you know what is a couple of things that are on the radar, and so you wherever you are, you can join in, and I want you to know that this on the radar is something. Wherever you are, if there is something that is happening and you would like me to just share with our viewers, you could just message me and let me know, send me the information, and I would share it on this platform for you free of cost. So you don't have to worry about that. But let's just see what is on the radar. Okay, So, if you are in the beautiful island of Barbados, the Enoch Empowered Network of Churches would be having their joint Pentecost rally at the the gym, no, not the gymnasium, at the Kensington Oval, sorry. And they are, that's all the churches coming together and have a Pentecost rally. And so if you're over there in Barbados, I want to encourage you to join them. This is a good time when churches come together and show that they are doing things together. If you are in the metropolitan city of New York, we want you to know that there is a seminar that is coming up. It's a seminar and it's 2 days. And this is developing the millionaire's mindset strategies for attracting wealth. We could talk about wealth because, God says when He created man, man must have dominion over the earth. All right. And so this seminar is going to be one that will give you some strategies, show you how to think like a millionaire, how to understand the law of attraction, mental toughness that brings success, among other things. And it is only $49, and you can just go to the website and check it out, and you will be able to register, and that would be a great webinar for you. All right, so those are two things that are on the radar that's coming up. I want to say hi to the beautiful Dale, Janley, Neil. Great having you locked on to Conversations with Dr. Els. Many blessings on you. Over there in Montreal, Canada, Samantha Fever Hepburn. Great having you, my friend, locked on to Conversations with Dr. Els. It's great to have you guys, and just do one thing for me I encourage you to do is to share this broadcast and let others know that we are live and alive on Conversations with Dr. L. So we're going to jump into our conversation today. And we said, I said earlier that we are talking about how do I know that I'm in a healthy relationship. There's a couple of things that we would have talked about, and we I want to quickly recap and just want to finish up the rest here. We said that trust is important. If you're in a relationship and you cannot trust your partner, your spouse, your family member, your brother, your sister, then we have your relationship is really unhealthy. So it's very important. It's very important that you can trust your partner. And trust comes with information. Trust comes with over a period of time. You got to understand that trust is, you can have different levels and measures of trust. All right. So as you continue to gather, the longer you with the person should be, and the more you are able to trust that person. Okay. So it's very important. It's a component of a healthy relationship is trust. Relationship experienced some ups and downs, and from time to time some challenges, but as trust is established, you would recognize that, hey, you are in a healthy relationship. All right, so let me just pause and say hi to Ruth Edwards. Great having you locked on to Conversations with Dr. Els. The great Bishop Ronald Devatile, my out there in, I think he's in Trinidad now. Bishop Devatile, great having you locked on to Conversations with Dr. Els. Many blessings to you and your beautiful wife, enjoying Trinidad and Tobago, and looking forward to see you soon. All right, so we're saying that one of the things that you must understand if you're in a healthy relationship, that is trust. Trust, if you are able to trust the person, then that's a component of a healthy relationship. We said also that there must be mutual respect. Okay, in close healthy relationship, people have to share a level of respect. You must respect each other, and especially for you ladies, you know, you've heard, some of you would have heard that the most important thing that a man needs is sex, and that, let me say to you, is wrong. All right, if you didn't know that, you know that now. The number one thing a man need is respect. All right. And so if you're in a relationship, you respect your partner, your husband. And so but also, you must understand, it does not mean that you just respect the male in the relationship. There must be mutual respect. You cannot go and talk to your spouse, your friend, your partner anyhow, put them down. You have to respect them. You have to be able to stand with them, all right? You have to be able not to belittle and be demean, sorry, them. All right, so don't belittle your partner, your spouse. Don't demean them. You have to be able to offer support and security. And again, as I said earlier, this conversation, we're inviting you to take part into this conversation. You can share your views. You can, write your comments. We would read your comments and so. But I want to just say hi to Princess Vicky. Great having you locked on to conversations with Dr. Els. All right. Of course, in a healthy relationship, there must be love and affection. Okay, there must be love and affection. If you, especially, and if you are in a marital relationship, if you have a spouse, a healthy relationship is characterized by love and affection. And I'm not limiting that to a husband and wife, partner relationship. Even among family members, there must be love. Love, the word love in the English language, we use the word love for almost anything, but there are practically three main words that are used for love, right? And that is we have the agape, which is God kind of love. We have filial, which is that friendship, that brotherly type of love. But we have also eros, which is the intimate type of love, and that would be a love between a man and a woman, a love between a married couple, an intimate love. And so we're saying in a healthy relationship, love and affection is important. We read books and we hear about 5 love languages, and therefore we need to be able to show affection. One of the things that I've realized, and I've taught this over the years in my ministry to family class. A lot of Christians, especially, and let me just talk to you Christians out there, because this conversation is not just for Christians, but let me just talk to you Christians out there. A lot of Christians are afraid to show affection. All right, and for some of you, when you see somebody showing affection, you think that they're going overboard. Come on. People who are not married, people who are out there, are the ones who often would hold hands, would give a smack on the buttocks, and would kiss in the road and such like that. And oftentimes, as Christians, you're afraid to do that because, oh, why should I be doing that? That is unholy. I was sharing in a session just recently, and I was saying to the team, I was saying to the group, hey, what if the man goes into the restaurant and sing "I love you"? Why is it that we could just say "I love you"? What if he sings to the woman, and one person said, why would he want to do that in public? that's where you should show it. So, very important. We're saying that in a healthy relationship, there would be an exhibit of love and affection. In a healthy relationship, there would be good communication. Let me pause and say hi to Gabrielle Gale. Great having you locked on to Conversations with Dr. Els. So, we are talking about how do we know that we are in a healthy relationship, and we're giving you some pointers, and these are not exhaustive because time will not allow me to exhaust them, but some key things that you need to remember, and you need to check your relationship to see if you have these as part of your relationship. And if you don't, it's okay, you can start working on them. We all need things, we all have things that we need to work on, right? We all need to work on some things, but good communication is very important. A healthy, long-lasting relationship, whether it is friendship, whether it is a marriage or that romantic partnership, requires the ability to communicate well. And one of the things that I've come to recognize is that we have to be able to communicate in a way that our partner understands. I think it was TD Jakes or so who did that song. If you love me the way I want to be loved, come over here and love me from my side, satin sheet side, right? Kind of saying that oftentimes we love people the way that we want to be loved. All right, and we do things that we think that is good, but we need to be able to find out from our partner or friends or that person we are in a relationship, what do they want. And again, that is where I talked earlier about love language. Understand your partner love language. All right, so it's very important that we understand some of these things are important for a healthy relationship. And maybe if you have some, you can just share with us what some of the things that you think is healthy, or shows that you are in a healthy relationship. Okay, there must be compromise in a relationship. There must be compromise. A strong relationship would is marked by natural reciprocity, right? You have to reciprocate. All right, you have to give and take. Sometimes your partner, that the other person can only give 50%, and then you have to give the 50%. Sometimes you are only able to give 20%, and you need the other person to give 80%. Oftentimes we go into a relationship and we expect to give 100%, and I think personally that should be the aim, that I should want to give 100%, and the other person should want to give 100%. But life happens, as they usually say, life oftentimes is lifing. And so there are times when I am not able to give 100%, and the other person would not be able to give 100%. But it is important that when I understand that I am able to extend myself and add to that 20 or 30 or 40 or how much percent the other person is giving, and strive to give additionally, so that we can really continue to have that 100%. But it is very important. It's really not about you keeping scores, right? It's not always about your feelings. Sometimes you have to put your feeling aside for the betterment of the relationship. You do things for one another because you genuinely want to do that. All right, and so it is not always, like I said, 100% at all times, but we have to be able to give. Let me pause and just say hi to LaFleur Robertson. Great having you locked on to Conversations with Dr. Elson Vincent, and the Grenadines is in the house. All right, and so it is very important that we understand that if we are to be in a healthy relationship, these are some of the things that are important. These are some of the things that we must watch for. All right. Hi, Lolita. Great having you, Lolita Dixon Cruikshank. Great having you locked on to conversation with Dr. Els. All right. So we're talking about a healthy relationship. How do we know we're in a healthy relationship? Some of the things that we need to look for. We talk about trust. We talk about having mutual respect. Okay, we talked about that before. We talked about healthy boundaries. We must be able to have healthy boundaries and understand this that you are each they're two individuals that come together, or if it's a family there might be more, but the individuality of the relationship and persons in the relationship. We can't take that away from the relationship. Healthy boundaries are unique to each individual and each couple. All right. I've often said, and I've pastored for right 25 years now, and been senior pastor for the last 23 years or so, and I've done several premarital counseling and marriage counseling, and I often say to folks, hey, remember your marriage is unique. All right. Oftentimes we people want your relationship to be the same like others. There are some basic principles that are important for every relationship, but you must understand your relationship is unique, and the way you would behave with your spouse, Lolita, or the way you would behave with your children or your family, it's different than how someone else would. And so you've got to understand that uniqueness. And so it's also important that you must understand that I am wired different than my spouse. And when I understand that, I work with that. Okay, I may not always like what is done, but I work with that, and therefore there are some boundaries that we must understand is needed in relationship. All right. And so you have to really determine those boundaries. There are some relationships that, okay, they've decided, hey, we will not go through each other's phone, or we will give each other time and space to have some friendship outside of the marriage. We will give each other time to go out there, maybe hang out with the girls, and he hanging out with the boys and such like that, respecting each other's space. There are time for that. Okay, we gotta understand that. Those are some examples of boundaries that we find in a relationship, and therefore it's important that we understand, if we're to be in a healthy relationship, that we must there must be healthy boundaries. Let me just say hi to Sharon Daniel. Great having you locked on to conversations with Dr. L. And therefore, if there are healthy relationship signs, there are unhealthy ones. And as I wrap up this session, remember we just have just about half an hour or so on conversations with Dr. Els. We must also seek to avoid some unhealthy things in relationships. So things like avoiding one another, and I'm just going to run through a few of them. Avoiding one another, making one feel pressured, to change who they are. Don't try to change the person, okay? Also, when there are things like lack of fairness when settling conflicts, you got to be fair with each other. All right? Unhealthy communication, the demeaning someone and putting down someone. When you see that, when we talk abuse, verbal abuse or physical abuse, those, if you see those things, of course, you could realize that you are in an unhealthy relationship. Of course, if trust is a sign of a healthy relationship, then mistrust is equally a sign of an unhealthy relationship. Now, control. unequal control over shared resources such like money and other things like that. And for person, if you're in a relationship and there is a sort of controlling person, there's some people who tell you can't do this and you can't do that, and you can't go here and there. You have to watch that, okay? You're not in a relationship to control the other person. Now, we could talk about respect and such like that, but we're not digging into that today, all right? But you got to understand that it's very important. Check your relationship. Oftentimes, you need to evaluate your relationship. How are we doing? Are there signs of unhealthy things in our relationship? All right. The, where are we in our relationship? And so you have to really check the relationship, evaluate. But it's very important that if you're going to have longevity in your relationship, there must be some healthy things that you need to develop. All right. And if these things are not part of your relationship, then you are in an unhealthy, and I would go as far as say in some places and times and persons, they are in toxic relationships and need to get up. All right. So, hey, God has created us for relationships. All right. When God created Adam, he said it's not good for a man to be alone, and God was wrong. But he wanted us not to just have that God type spiritual relationship, but also to have relationship with each other. And therefore, you must understand that God has created you to be in a community, to be with each other. Don't be a hermit. Don't stand alone, and find someone to love, someone to share your life with, someone to interact with. All right. And as you do that, evaluate your relationship, whether it's a mother, daughter, father, son, husband, wife, you're engaged, whatever relationship you are in, you need to be in a healthy relationship. It would be a relationship that would flourish. And so, as I wind this down, I still want to just say hi to Lester. I feel the great having you locked on to conversations with Dr. Els. It was a great thing to see you in today, in a different light. So I salute you, my brother. And to Darius John, great having you locked on to conversations with Dr. Els. Anthony Donaldson from there in Antigua, great having you locked on. So from wherever you've been, we've had Canada, Trinidad and Tobago, New York, New Jersey, St. Vincent, Barbados, wherever you are in the house, we really want to say, hey, thank you for being a part of Conversations with Dr. Els, and I am looking forward to see you next Sunday, God's willing, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, where we would have another conversation with Dr. Els. And remember, you can share this conversation with those that you are in contact with. Let them know Conversations with Dr. Els is here. All right, so God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the evening. And for those of you who would look at this conversation later and would just share it, I want to say hello to you and thank you for being a part of Conversations with Dr. Els.